Bungie has recently made a change to glaives that at first glance looked like a win. On paper, the update was framed as a buff: improved projectile hit registration, better handling, increased aim assist, faster projectile speed, all the right words to get glaive enthusiasts excited. But once the changes hit the game, the reality was a harsh slap in the face. What was promised as an upgrade has turned out to be one of the most frustrating experiences for glaive users to date. If you are someone who spent time mastering glaives, learning their unique timing, spacing, and mechanics, you probably felt that sting immediately. Glaives have always had a niche but passionate following. We didn't need them to be overpowered, we just wanted them to feel consistent and rewarding. Instead, what we got was a messy, unpredictable weapon that feels more broken than ever. So what exactly changed, and why is this such a gut punch for anyone who genuinely enjoys using the glaives? Let's not waste any time and dive right in. In the first twit discussing glaive buffs, it was mentioned that glaives would receive improvements to projectile hit registration, alongside buffs to key stats like aim assist, magnetism, handling, and projectile speed. Many glaive users assumed that the improved projectile hit registration would be a direct result of these stat increases. After all, in theory, higher baseline stats should enhance consistency and bring glaives closer to how they felt before the rework. So what went wrong? Instead of a more consistent and reliable weapon, glaives ended up with a Jotun-like tracking projectile and what appears to be like a different aim assist cone. This change has introduced new issues with hit registration and overall consistency. In many cases, projectiles either phase through targets or track where the target was, not where they are. These problems further amplified by movement, speed, and potential network latency. While the added tracking might seem helpful on paper, in practice it often causes the projectile to veer off course, creating a noticeable disconnect between where the player aimed and where the projectile actually lands. These concerns aren't limited to just one playstyle or archetype. Feedback has come from players using both input types and a wide variety of glaives, from adaptives to aggressives and even rapid fires, with different perks and stat combinations. Yet despite that variety, there's one consistent piece of feedback: glaive projectiles just don't feel good to use, especially in close to mid-range engagements. Here are some examples of the projectile not registering or veering off course. Let's take a quick look at the updated Crosshair. The 3 lines are more than just for looks. They actually indicate the weapon's aim assist cone. If you position one of the 2 bottom lines correctly, either leading a moving target or placed directly on one, it almost guarantees a hit. Here's what the Crosshair looked like before the rework, and here's what it looks like now. In simple terms, the Crosshair has tightened up to match the new, smaller aim assist cone. This new cone is more focused at long range, thanks to a buff in the aim assist fall-off distance. Interestingly, the updated cone is now similar to how the old in-air projectile cone used to look. This tighter cone at close to mid-range is likely why glaives feel clunky in close quarters combat. Combine that with Jotun's unpredictable tracking, and it's not a great time. However, glaives do feel noticeably better at longer ranges, 20 meters and beyond, thanks to that aim assist fall-off buff, giving them that kind of budget sniper vibe. This newfound effectiveness at range naturally led us to explore how glaives could perform in different setups. After countless trips to the Enclave and hours of testing in the Crucible, both myself and others in the glaive community have come to a surprising conclusion. Lowering your glaive's range and replacing impulse amplifier can actually make your projectiles feel more consistent in close quarters, with the trade-off of longer range shots not being in the cards, unless you want to waste special ammo. And here's why. Reducing range gives your projectile slightly longer time in the air, which allows the tracking to engage more fully before it connects. It's subtle, but that extra float time seems to let the aim assist cone do its job better. Now, to be clear, registration issues still exist. They haven't magically gone away, but the consistency has definitely improved in practical scenarios. If you are a fan of the new Strand Glaive Refusal of the Call or the Arc Glaive Backfang from Gambit, you'll be happy to know that they both roll with beacon rounds. This perk triggers a better projectile tracking after a final blow, and it synergizes incredibly well with a more controlled range stat. It's a fun way to keep the pressure on while leaning into Glaive's unique playstyle. As for me, I've been using the aggressive frame Judgment of Kelgroth, and my roles had ballistic tuning, accurized rounds, genesis, and impulse amplifier. It was solid before the rework. After the changes happened, I've completely recrafted it. The updated role I'm running now is tempered truss rod, light mag, shot swap, and close to melee. This build sacrifices max range and swaps out impulse amplifier for perks that better support aggressive plays and melee engagements. I chose tempered truss and light max specifically to reduce my range, though I'm still experimenting with the roles to find the best fit. From all my testing, I'd say the new sweet spot for glaive range is somewhere between 60 and 80. It's high enough to still compete at range, but low enough that the projectile tracking has time to breathe, and the weapon doesn't feel too stiff or too precise. With this range in mind, it's clear that delicate balance is key for glaives to shine. I'm gonna be real with you. Reverting the projectile changes would fix almost everything. That alone would bring glaives back to a state that felt fluid, reliable, and honestly, exactly what most veteran glaive users have been asking for. The core issue isn't that glaives got reworked. Most of the changes were solid, but what we didn't need was the Jotun-style projectile tracking. That specific change made things worse, not better. It's now significantly harder to land pre-fire shots or win duels, because your projectile will curve toward where the target was instead of tracking toward where they're going. That slight delay or redirection throws off timing and aim in a way that feels unnatural for a weapon that's supposed to reward prediction and precision. Before the rework, glaive projectiles were consistent. As long as you weren't dealing with bad connection, you could trust your shots. The hitboxes work, the travel path was predictable, and you can line up your follow-ups confidently. This is what glaives need: consistency. Everything else in the recent glaive update was fine, especially the velocity buff. But this tracking behavior, paired with what feels like a tighter aim assist cone, actively works against how glaives are meant to function. If Bungie simply walked back the projectile tracking or dramatically reduced its effect, we'd be in a much better place. Glaives should reward smart plays, not force you to fight against weird curveballs. Literally. At the end of the day, glaives did not need a complete overhaul. They needed stability, consistency, and a little polish to help them find their place in the sandbox. Instead, we got changes that overcomplicated the core experience and left glaive mains feeling alienated from a weapon they've put hours into mastering. What hurts the most is that this could have been a moment for glaives to really thrive, especially with artifact perks like Nobel and Hold the Line that seemed tailor-made for glaive synergy. Instead, it feels like a missed opportunity. Glaive users deserve better than having to fight the weapon just to make it work. I was excited to dive deep with them this episode, but honestly, I've been avoiding them more than I'd like. It's frustrating to see such a unique weapon class sidelined again because of poorly executed changes. Here's to hoping Bungie listens and takes feedback seriously and brings glaives to a place where they feel reliable, responsive, and fun again, because right now, they don't feel like the powerhouse tools we love. They feel like a shell of what they could have been. To all my glaive warriors out there, yeah, this one hurts, but we're resilient. We've been fighting this uphill battle since day one, and if anyone can adapt, it's us. Still, I won't lie, this isn't the glow up we were hoping for. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about the state of glaives. Are you staking it out, or switching it up? Or just grieving like the rest of us? Hit the like button if you feel my pain, and subscribe for more. I'll be over here staring at my loadouts, wondering if glaives are still worth it. Until then, happy gaming guardians, and remember that I love you in-game.